Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Just gotta update my site real quick to make sure everyone can see the live stream. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one today. And cool. Let me just reload here. All right. Do. All right. 3 by 480. Or actually, it would be 100%. And auto. No, 100%. Cool. All right. I'm just adding the live stream. Hey Pablo. Hey Tamaz. Hey Adrian. Yo man, where have you been? Been missing your videos. Hope you're great. Yeah, I've been yeah, like I mentioned yesterday, I was working at Webflow for 2 years, and it was a very time consuming job in a way. It was gratifying, I was helping customers. I was a customer support representative at Webflow, and I just recently left to do more YouTube videos and share more information with the community. So that's where I've been. I did a live stream yesterday that was super fun, and yeah. So stream health, current bitrate is at user bitrate of 500 kilobytes. Okay, so saying my stream isn't great, my stream health. So yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me well and you can see my screen. So yeah, this is what we're going to be building today. And let me know if it's laggy or anything. I'll try to maybe update something on here. But let me see, I'm looking here. There is a bit of a delay. And yeah. So let's see. Oh, that looks pretty good. I wish you all the best. Thanks for the answer. I missed yesterday's episode. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm excited to be back here. I'll be doing the stream every day. Well, Monday through Thursday, every day. Well, yeah, Monday through Thursday, 12 to 1 p.m. So yeah. All right, cool. I'm just rewatching my stream here. Okay, cool. So stream health is good. 23. Okay, so yeah, if there's any issues with the stream, just definitely let me know. I wanted to let you know I did a showcase of your work on the Pixel Geek community. Thanks for all the helpful clonables. For sure. Yeah, I'm happy to provide clonable projects. It's a lot of fun. And yeah. Cool. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I'm not sure why YouTube is telling me about the stream health, but if it's all good, then we'll continue. Awesome. Could you show us responsive scroll? Do you have an example, Riz? Um, so yeah, I'm hoping. I think it's Gentile. I'm hoping she's on today, um, because she wanted to know how to implement Three.js into her website. So I created this little site here with Three.js in the background, and then we have an animated button. So when you hover, we have this nice kind of line drawing to the button. And if anyone wants to see it while I'm working on it, I'll post it in the chat. And yeah. So yeah, I think I can get started. So I'll just start showcasing how to do this. So Gentile, if you're not here at the moment, then just rewatch the video on how to implement Three.js into your site. Some of the links in your description don't work. Yeah, so I'm currently updating all those links in the clonables, Adrian, since I've kind of switched up my website. So I do have a new website. So there's new links, and I just have to update those links on the website. So this is my new site. It's a little bit cleaner. Not using that dark theme. Just wanted to make like all the buttons accessible and easy to navigate. So, I have my super chat that's currently going on here, and yeah. So definitely check that out if you haven't checked out the new site. Hello, Omar. Great to see you. Yeah, Riz, if you find an example, I'll definitely be happy to take a look. But yeah, this is the project we're going to be building today. Just a Three.js taken from CodePen, and this button we're going to create in After Effects and animate it in Webflow. Cool. So let's go ahead and start. I don't think it's going to take a long time. So just to showcase how this was built first. Yeah, now I want this to be interactive. So if while I'm talking you have questions, just ask and I'll be happy to answer those. So what I did is I just added this Three.js code into the before body tag for the site, and that's basically it. So I went on CodePen, and I just typed in. So let me just go to CodePen.io. Just type in Three.js. And for some of these, you might have to get kind of licensing to use it. But, you can reach out to the developer and say, hey, can I use your Three.js project on my site? And they'll either be like, yeah, that's cool, or they'll say, nah. So I went through all of these, and I'll see if I can find it. I probably won't be able to find it now, or either I skipped it. Okay, here it is. So I found this triangles orbits in Three.js, and all the code is right here. So all we had to do, and you want to click on settings, and you do need a CodePen account. It's free. You can just open a CodePen account, and you can go to settings for the CodePen, and go to JS, and then you want to make sure you include these CDN links in Webflow. So I'll go into Webflow, and I'll just create a new page. I'll call this Three.js demo. Click create, and I'll go into the code. So for the page, click the gear icon. I'll go down to the code section. I'm just gonna close my window real quick because it's very loud outside. So 1 second. And yeah, let me. Okay, so I'm back now. Cool. So yeah, let's go into 3.js, and I'll just include these CDN scripts. So I'll copy this first one, and the way to include these scripts is you first type in the script tag source, so src equals quotation marks, and then you can paste in the CDN link, then close quotation, closing bracket, and then you want to do closing script tag. All right, so I'll just copy this 2 more times because we're going to add 3 other scripts in here. And let me copy this CDN script here. And yeah, let's do this one. And I don't think I need this third one here, but we might need it. But I'll copy this tween.js. Okay, so I have all the CDN links. So these links are necessary so the code can reference the links. And I'll just copy this code here, this JavaScript code, hit Command C to copy, and I'll open a script tag and paste that code in there, and then close the script tag. So that code that we copied from CodePen needs to be in script tags, and then we have the CDN reference links here. So I'll click save. I don't think it's going to work yet because the user here is referencing an ID called container. So let's just publish and see if we can get it to work. And it's not working yet, and I think it's going to give us a console error of the ID. Yeah, it cannot read property append child of null. So it is looking for that container. So I'll just add a div block right here, and I'll give it the ID container. Okay, and I'll go ahead and set this to a position of fixed and full. And I'll just rename it to container for the class, or just so we know, Three.js container. Go ahead and publish. And preview. And just like that, we have this triangle. Looks cool. Let me just refresh. Yep, that looks good. Awesome. So now we have this Three.js animation. And yeah, that's just all from CodePen. So we went into settings, copy the CDN scripts. This controls is just like he has some type of script that allows you to control maybe the colors, I think. I can't see the script here, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, so I just used the first, second, and last CDN scripts. And then we added the class with the ID of container, and we have this cool animation in Webflow. All right, so yeah, that's all there's to it. You know, it's not too complicated. One thing that I might showcase at some point is how to upload your own scripts to a CDN, so you can use like advanced, like CodeDrops is a website that I really like a lot, and they have like just amazing examples of Three.js. Like this one is super cool. Before I was preparing this presentation or this live chat, I was looking at this one here, and it's like a whale being drawn with Three.js, which is super cool. But it's not accessing scripts from a CDN. Like this file was uploaded to a server, and the different scripts are referencing each other within a folder, not a CDN, which makes it a little bit harder to drag into Webflow. But initially I wanted to showcase this, and what I might do is showcase how to upload your own files to a CDN so you can add more than 10,000 characters in your code. Because right now, you know, some of these Three.js examples are more than 10,000 characters in code, and that would make it difficult to add to Webflow. You would have to upload your JavaScript file to a CDN, and and then reference it in Webflow like we were referencing this code here, like the script source code here. So Pablo wrote, I think the scripts control the orbit and the easing, and the third one is for Three.js itself. Yep, that's correct. That seems correct. Cool. So that's how this was added. Now let's add the button. So this button that says enter, which could make for a really cool kind of intro landing page for your site, where you can have this cool animation in the background, and you can, have the user enter. So it can create like a nice experience for the user. So the way I did that, first we'll just quickly go into After Effects and just create a new Lottie animation. And this is really kind of straightforward. So I'm going to create a new composition, and the width and the height of the composition is 300 by 300. And I'll just call this the composition button. Click OK. It's 2 seconds and 2.9.97 frame rate is OK. I'll click OK. Hey, what's up, Deshaun? How's it going? Cool. So now I'll just add a circle. So that animation is just a circle. So I'll click the ellipse tool right up here, and I'll just draw a circle. And then within the layers panel here, I'll open the ellipse path, and then I'll just set the circle to 250 by 250. So a perfect circle, and that's it. So now we have this circle, and I'll center it within the composition, and I'll go ahead and center, I think it's shift and double click, or command and double click. Yeah, command double click centers the anchor point. It's not really necessary for this animation, but I like to see my anchor point centered. And then we'll select ellipse 1 here in the layers panel, click the add option here, and I'll add a trim path. Okay. And one thing to note, this circle doesn't have a fill, and it is 4 pixels. The stroke is 4 pixels in width. Yeah, so 4 pixels in width. Yeah, and then we also want to go into the stroke right in here. Click the stroke drop down, and for the line cap, let's say round cap instead of a butt cap. A round cap just has a smoother roundness on the ends, and a butt cap is just a jagged edge. So round cap is nice. It creates kind of a smoother feel to the line. All right, so back to the trim path. We have the trim path here. So I'm going to, for the end property right here. Oh, you can't see it because my face is there. So let me go into OBS. Let me just move my face over here for a sec. All right, so yeah, so we have the ellipse. We open the ellipse drop down. We changed the width and height to 250 by 250. Then we added, so I'll delete this trim path just so I can do it again. So for the contents, we select ellipse 1, click the add, select trim paths, and now we have that trim path there. So I'll open the drop down, and for the end property, we're gonna change it to 0. So we're gonna start at 0, and then click the stopwatch. So we're gonna start there for the end. We're gonna go to 15, or let's see, how did I do it in the other one? Let me take a look. Oh, it's just 15 frames. Okay. So yeah, we're going to go to 15 frames and change the end to 100. And if I play it, we have the that line drawing. All right. You can upload long scripts using a text file too. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Deshaun. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we have this animating line. Pretty simple. I'm just going to add some easing to the line. So I'm going to select these keyframes. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say keyframe assistant and say easy ease. Okay, so it converts it to kind of add some easing to the animation. And then I'll select these keyframes. I'll click on this graph editor right over here. So I'll go ahead and click, and I'll grab this. I'm on the speed graph. So for the speed graph, you can click this icon down here and select edit speed graph. And then I'll just grab this point and change the easing to look something like this. So it starts off quick and ends slow. So we go fast and then slow. So something like that, just as kind of, it's a bit more dynamic, the animation, which I like. And then I'll go ahead and just make this animation, I think I made it 20, or just drag it a little bit past that last keyframe. So something like this. All right, so there's our animation, looks good. So now I'll just go to Window, Extensions, and click Body Moving. All right, if you don't have Body Moving, you can go to Window, find Extensions on Exchange, and I'll go ahead and showcase it. And Body Moving is right here. You can just click Install, and it'll install Body Moving into After Effects. You will have to close After Effects for it to install. And you'll also want to go to After Effects, Preferences, Scripting, and Expressions, and click Allow Scripts to write files and access network. So this first checkbox right up here. Okay, so I'll go to Window, go to Extensions, and click on Body Moving. Mario, I'll answer that in 1 second. That's a great question. All right, so let me go into this. Actually, let me rename this composition to, I'll just call it button-2. Go to Window, Extensions, Body Moving. And select button-2 right here. I'm only going to render this one. And I'll go ahead and render it to the desktop. So I'll say button-2, click Save, and render. All right, cool. So now I'll go into Webflow. And let me see if I can. All right, cool. So I'm in Webflow right in here. And I want to go ahead and add another div block because we're going to put the button in its own div block. But buddy, you need a YouTube studio room. Yeah, that would be. What are you thinking for like a studio room? Here, let me put my face down here. Like cool shelves and stuff in the background. That would be cool. All right. So yeah, I added a div block. I want to put it in the body and not the Three.js container. And I'm going to set this. I'm going to call this button wrapper. Let me just button wrapper. Set the position to fixed and full. And then in here, I'm going to add I'm just going to call this, add a div block. So I'm using Command K for quick find. So I'll add a div block in here and I'll call this button. And for the button wrapper, I'll go ahead and position it in the center, or set the flex and set it to center so that this button is in the center. I do want this to be a link block, so I'm going to right click and convert to link block. Oh, like a gaming room, share a video when you're done. Like a gaming room. I'm not sure if I quite follow. Share a video when you're done. This video is available after I'm done presenting here, but yeah. Yeah, sounds interesting. Cool. So we have the button here. I'm gonna set the width and the height to this button to 300 by 300 because that's the size of the JSON file. So let me just go to my desktop, and we have this button too. So I'm just going to click, hold, and drag and place it into Webflow. And now we have this Lottie animation inside that div block. And I'm going to set the width and height to this Lottie animation to 300 by 300. And I'll showcase why I'm doing that in a second. But if I go ahead and publish, we're going to see that Lottie animation. So Mario, let me actually finish this, and then I'll answer that question. So as we can see, it animated. So it animates when the page first loads. I want it to animate on hover. So let me finish kind of building this out. And for a moment, I'm going to set the background to this button wrapper to black so that I can preview in Webflow. So we can see it just animates. So we have that Lottie animation. Within this button, I'm going to add another div block. And I'm going to call this button background, or button opaque, or circle opaque. Okay, I'm going to set the position to absolute and full. And I want to make sure this button has a position of relative so that this circle opaque is inside of this button here. Then for this button, I'm going to set the border here to, let's set it to 2 pixels. Set the color to white and the opacity to 10, or the alpha to 10. Then for the radius, I'm going to set it to 50%, so it's a perfect circle. And now we have this kind of outline of a circle. I'm going to set the width to 250 by 250, which is the same height as the Lottie animation. And then for the button, I'm going to set the flex property to flex, and then center, so that anything that's inside of it gets centered. Circle opaque. And then for the absolute, let me just set all these percentages to auto. So I'm going to hold down Option and just click so that all the sides are set to auto. And this will make sure that this absolute positioned element is in the center of the button. Okay, so as we can see, we have that outline of a circle, and then that line kind of, goes around it. So hopefully everyone's following. Let me just check the quality of my stream real quick.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
Okay, yeah, no, it's good quality. All right, cool. So yeah, we're almost there. Now what I want to happen is when I hover over the button, I want the Lottie animation to play. So within Webflow, this can be done natively in Webflow. I can select the button, go into interactions, click the plus. I'll say on mouse hover, I'm going to start an animation, and I'm going to click the plus. I'm going to go and say Lottie play forward. Then I'll select the Lottie animation, click the plus, select under integrations, I'll select Lottie. And then here for the Lottie, I'm just going to say play to 100%. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at linear, so we use the easing that we set up in After Effects. If I were to set different easing to this, it might look a little bit weird because the After Effects animation already has easing applied, and then we're adding easing to the motion of how it plays. So leaving the animation to linear, that's fine. Duration of 0.5 seconds is fine. It's making the animation a little bit longer, but that's okay with me. I'll click save. And then on hover out, we're going to start an animation. I'll go ahead and duplicate this Lottie play forward. Go ahead and duplicate it. And I'll call this Lottie play reverse. Okay, and then here, rather than to 100%, we're just going to go back to 0%. And I'll click save. So now when I preview and I hover over the button, we have the animation playing on hover. All right, so the last thing we need to do is, or actually there's some more animation I want to add to this button. So initially I want the button to have a scale of 0.8. So it starts off a little bit smaller, and I'm going to set it as the initial state of 0.8, and I'll save this. And then on reverse, we're going to, or wait, actually, let's go into the forward. So it's scaled to 0.8. I'm going to add another animation and scale it to 1. And for the easing, I'm going to say ease in out. And the duration, 0.5 seconds is fine. And I'm going to start it with the Lottie animation starting to play. So it's going to start at 0.8, so a little bit smaller. And then it's going to zoom in. So I'll save, and then again, for the scale, I'm going to select the button, and I'm going to scale it back to 0.8 on hover out. And for the easing, I'm going to say ease in out. All right, so let's see how that looks. And I'm going to start this scale with the Lottie animation. So I hover, it scales in. And let's make that scale in a bit quicker. So I'm going to say for the duration, I'm going to say 0.2. And the same for the forward. I'm going to say 0.2. All right. So that's a little bit fast. Maybe let me change the easing to ease rather than ease and out. Yeah, when working with interactions, it's all about like kind of the timing and how it feels and looks. Yeah, maybe 0.4. 0.4 might be good. Keep uploading great videos. Thank you. Thank you, Deshaun. Appreciate it. Okay, click save. Yeah, it looks good. All right, so now I'm just going to add some text inside of the button. So hit Command K, and I'm going to add a text block. And I'm just going to call this button text. I'm going to set the position to absolute. And for the button, I'm going to remove this underline. And then I'm just going to style this text. So for the text, I'm going to say enter. Or let's say go for this one. And then I'll just style the text. So I'm going to use a font. Let's use Montserrat. And then the color, set it to white. And then make it really large. And for the height, I'm going to say 1 and make it unitless. All right, so there we have it, say go. And cool, that looks good. So we hover, we have the Lottie animation playing, and it looks good. Cool, so now I'll just publish, and that's it for this animation. So we have the Three.js in the background, and we have this button animation. Let's see. Yeah, because I added a background to this button wrapper. So let's just reset that. The background was covering the Three.js in the background. All right, cool. So there we go. And just like that, we have this nice intro landing page in Webflow. One thing I'm going to do, I just need to see this for a second. I'm going to change the font here to something else. Maybe Times New Roman. That looks cool. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all I wanted to do there. Reset that. Oh yeah, I want to link the button. So let me link the button to WebDev for you. So URL. I'll open it in a new tab and publish. All right. Let me just close these here. Let's take a look. And nice. And then if I click, we go to WebDev for you. So that could be kind of a cool landing page for your site if you want to add Three.js and you want to make the landing page a bit simple and or just offer an experience initially for the user where they see something really cool and then they click this button. And what I like about this particular animation that I selected off CodePen is that it zooms in when I hover to the center, which works perfectly with the go button, right? So, yeah. So, Chantil, I think it was. It looks so easy when you're doing it. Um, yeah. If you have any questions about what I went over, or like if you want to practice and then come in tomorrow and say, hey, I tried it, it didn't quite work. I'll be happy to review any of this. So yeah, that's how we add Three.js. We basically, grab the code from this code pen. We grab this JS, put it in a script tag. We grab these .js CDN references, added it to the custom code section of the page. So here we're referencing the CDN scripts. Here we added a script, an open script tag, added that script in there, and then closed the script tag down here. So that adds the Three.js. We did need to add a div block with the ID of container, because in the code pen, he's referencing this ID container. And it wasn't necessary, but I set it to position fixed and full, just so I know that the Three.js is filling the entire viewport. And then we added a button. We created a button in After Effects, just a simple trim path animation. Added a circle, added the trim path, animated it, added some easing, exported it with body move in. So we created a .json file, which is a Lottie file, added it into Webflow, and then worked with interactions to create the hover animation. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was a cool build. So Mario asked, I asked because I found you even first in Ran Seagull, and then you disappeared. Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned it yesterday and earlier in the stream. The past few years, I was working at Webflow as a customer support representative. So that's why I wasn't creating YouTube videos. And yeah, so I just left Webflow as a customer support representative to do more YouTube videos and to create more templates. Just wanted to do something a little bit more creative. Webflow is an amazing place to work. Highly recommend it if you're looking for a position there, or you want to work. Excuse me, my voice cracked. You want to work at Webflow. It's a really great place to work. I just wanted it to be a bit more creative and do more interesting things like this, and offer more content to the community. So that I might get asked that probably for the next week or so, like, where have you been? You haven't been making videos. Yeah, totally understand. Was just super busy at Webflow, working 8 hours a day answering customer questions about Webflow. So I feel that sets me up for this YouTube channel really well, where I can now offer all that knowledge that I've gained working at Webflow and customer support. I can now offer it to the community and help users with anything they might have questions with. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. I do want to change this font again. Fonts are always something. See, I like Montserrat, but I don't like that the G isn't defined. Like, it's like that little accent on the hook for the G isn't there, which I'm not super excited about that. Oh, Palantino is kind of cool. I could probably just go into Google Fonts too and look for a font. Oh, that's cool. System UI. Don't like EXO. That's kind of cool. You can get a little bit designy with great vibes. Just great vibes up in this room. So I picked a font called Great Vibes. Oh, again, I have to set the background to transparent, so I'll just reset this. Yeah, when working with custom code that's not native to Webflow, sometimes you have to like make backgrounds transparent or not know what you're working with initially. So, adding the background and then changing it. Well, I kind of like that. I like the Great Vibes font. It adds a unique thing to it. Are you excited for the future of Webflow? Vlad says is not like that, but they have sleeping on users for some time now. I'm super excited for the future of Webflow. That might be an understatement. Um, I know, and I covered this yesterday too. Someone was asking a similar question. I know a lot of features haven't been released lately for Webflow, and I get it. Like, we want to see these really cool features, and there's things that we're looking for as users. I will tell you, having worked there, Webflow, it's not like we're sitting on our hands or Webflow's been sitting on their hands. There's been a lot of work that's gone into not only scaling the company, but making sure that everything is done correctly, as far as the new features. So I will say that Webflow has been very hard at work to launch some amazing, amazing things. And Vlad mentioned this in his last Q&A. He mentioned this a lot. And it's stay tuned to No Code Conference in November. A lot of things are going to be announced that the community has been waiting for. I can't share more information than that, but No Code Conf when No Code Conf gets here, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's why I waited this long, for for these features, because when they're launched, it's gonna work in a way that's like really, really great, intuitive. It fits right in with the product, and yeah. So engineers are just hard at work to make sure that everything works correctly. So hopefully that answers that question, Mario. I know users are or have been waiting for some really cool features, but yeah, that is coming. Or, more features are coming soon. So I am super excited about the future of Webflow. There was another question. It was yesterday about the FinSuite plugin. So I started looking into it yesterday, and it looks interesting. I'm gonna watch the FinSuite video that they made on the plugin or the Chrome extension just to understand it a bit better. But honestly, like, I looked at it, and the new tabs that are there that are native to the FinSuite Chrome extension, I don't know. I think it's cool. I just find it difficult to not work with native tabs in Webflow and things like that. But I haven't given it a fair chance yet, so I'm going to spend time with that this weekend or this week. So you have an embargo. What does that mean, Mario? I don't quite understand what that means. Embargo. An official ban or trade or other commercial activity with a particular country. I don't know if that's. I don't know. I don't think that relates necessarily to my situation, but could you elaborate, Mario? Hey, again from New Zealand. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? What's up? What's up? Yeah, I just showcased how to create this kind of little animation. So I think it was yesterday, Chantil, I might be butchering the name, but she asked, or he asked, it's hard to tell on YouTube, but how to add Three.js to Webflow. So I just went over that really quick. And then we created this Lottie button in Webflow. We created the Lottie animation in After Effects and added it to Webflow. So yeah, this could be a cool like intro page where the user has to click a button to get into the site. For these type of sites, I think they're more for like musicians and artists. If it was like a business, I don't know if it could, depending on what the business is, this could work. But it's more of like flashy, wanting to impress the user before they go into the site. Yeah, I kind of thought that's what you meant, Mario. Embargo, that you can't tell anything about the new Webflow features. Thank you for the answers. Yeah, yep. I can't talk about Webflow or what's going on at Webflow. So, but yeah, a lot of cool things coming for sure. Nice. So yeah, that was fun yesterday, Jonathan, when I looked at your site. Um, if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So yeah, we have like 15 minutes. I don't think there's anything else that I want to cover. There is for tomorrow, so I have something set up for tomorrow. Um, so Code Drops is a site that I really love as far as like looking at cool website things. One thing that I'm going to cover tomorrow is how to create some of these buttons. So if you check this out, like some of these buttons are just super awesome. Really like them. This one is a bit more in depth with the SVG, which I might do. We might create this in After Effects, and then we can animate it in Lottie. Animate it in Webflow. This was done using CSS, but we can do this with Lottie as well. Yeah, exactly. I got you, Mario. So we have these buttons. Just really fun stuff. Yeah, this can be done in After Effects. So the one that I want to cover, oh, look at that. Oh, that is sweet. Oh, man. Yeah, maybe, oh, I like that. Oh, look, we did this one today. So maybe I got inspired off that to do that. The one that I want to create for tomorrow is this one. This one is actually really simple, and we can just create it in Webflow. So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll just create this button here. So Omar says, as I said yesterday, I'm new in Webflow, so accept the university. Do you know any content or advice that may help me starting? The university, I think, is the place to get the information to get started with Webflow. Don't get too overwhelmed with a lot of other videos. Try to stick with McGuire and how he teaches and just go from there, and then just start practicing. Like with any skill, it takes practice to start building, to start learning. You want to get familiar with the Webflow interface. You want to get familiar with creating layouts. Like, I can having dealt with Webflow for such a long time now, I can quickly show you how I would start building a site. Like, we'll just start a new page. So the first thing I would do with the site is add a section. So we have a section. We can add a hero section. So I'll call this hero section. And let's just make it full viewport. So I'll set the min width to 100 VH. So it fills the entire viewport. Yeah, and let's just give it a background color. So let's make it a dark theme. I like dark theme. Oh, that was the font. So 1A, 1A, 1A. So we have the theme. I can go ahead and add a navigation. So let me add the nav, which is right down here. Add a nav bar. Cool. And for the nav bar, I'll just set the position to fixed and set it to the top. So we have the nav bar, and let me set the background of the nav bar to transparent. Set the text of the nav link to white. And just add that class name. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good combo. Nav link. And we can change the font. Let's do something like this. Cool. So we have our nav bar. We are using this container. I'm not a fan of using the default Webflow containers, but I'm just quickly showcasing how to create a nav. So we have a nav up there. For the hero section, let's see, what do I want to do for the site? Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and add an image to the left and some content on the right. So we have the hero section. I'll go ahead and add a div block. And I'll select the hero section, set it to a position of flex. Flex, and justify left and align stretch and horizontal. And then I'll set the width of this, or actually, that'll work for this hero section. I'll set the width to 30%. Let's go to Unsplash and get a cool image. And let's make it about, let's see, anyone want to throw a topic? Let's say whales, just because I have whales from that previous one. So this one looks cool. I'll download it. Let me show it in the Finder. Let me open it with preview. So this is one thing I've just gotten used to. This size is 788 kilobytes. With images, you want to keep them under 300 kilobytes. So let's go to Tools, Adjust Size. And right now the size of this is 1500 by 2667. That's a good size. I don't think I'd want to make it smaller than that. So let me just see if I can just compress it. I'm going to go to compressedjpeg.com. And I might have to make it smaller. We'll see. So I compressed it. And it did not compress anything. No compression. What? Okay, let me just resize it. Tools, adjust size. I'm going to say 1280. 1280 by 2776. What is up with this image? It does not want to. Let's change the height to 2000. All right, 607. Cool. So, you could probably resize it to like 1280 or something to get it under 300 kilobytes. Or actually, no, we had some success. It's 486 kilobytes. All right, so we have that div block. I'm going to call this left side. And I'm going to go to the background right here and add an image. And let me add the image to the assets panel here. So there are some questions. Let me select the background image, set it to cover and bottom. All right, so we have this section. So I'm going to add another div block in the hero section. And I'm going to set this to 100%. So it fills, 70%, excuse me. And then we have our content here. So here I'm going to center this, or set the flex to center, rename the div block to right side, and then just add like a cool heading or something. So Command K, I'm going to add a heading, and I'm going to call this hero heading. And I don't really want to use great vibes here, but why not? So whales. And we'll set the line height to 1. And let's set the flex to vertical. And then we'll just add a button. And we'll say enter. We'll make this button background. Let's grab the color from, kind of try to match it, that blue color from the water. Something like that. And for the font, let's make it Montserrat. And set it to 1 for the line height. And let's add some border radius, 20. And we'll add some more padding to this button. Maybe 20, something like this. That button, not really liking that. Let me change the font size a little bit smaller. So enter. And then we can actually place this nav bar on the right side. So nav bar, and we'll set the right side to a position of relative. Nav bar, be absolute. Yeah, absolute. So it fits on the right side, and cool. So just like that, we built a quick landing page in Webflow. And pretty straightforward. So Mario asked, do you know if there's a way to use WebGL with Webflow? So I think Three.js is using WebGL, which I kind of demonstrated at the beginning. So yeah, we just have a quick site here. Do you know? Yeah, so I think WebGL, I can research that. WebGL, Webflow, Three.js. Yeah, it does use WebGL. So Three.js is a cross-browser JavaScript library, an application programming interface used to create and display animated 3D computer graphics in a web browser using WebGL. The source code is hosted in a repository on GitHub. So Jonathan asks, will you be doing any more Dribble to Webflow design builds like you used to? Yeah, for sure. I know a few guys on Dribble. I can reach out to them. Actually, I have a few mockups that I can build. Is that something you guys would be interested in seeing? Like Dribble to Webflow? I can definitely start that tomorrow. Like, I can have a few things I want to cover, and then maybe 20 minutes building a Dribble layout. We can definitely do that. So Pablo wrote, you can use WebGL and Webflow similar to what was shown in the beginning of the stream. Oh, thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it. Nice. Very cool. So yeah, we're nearing the hour mark. If anybody needs any help with their Webflow site, let me know. Again, I can help via super chat. Just drop a super chat and I can take a look at your site. You can send me a read-only link. If you're struggling with something in Webflow and you want me to show you how I would go about building it, I can definitely showcase that. You can send your read-only link. So yeah, you can kind of view this article here on how to do it. Basically, you just go into this icon. It says share project, and then here share read-only link, and then copy this link and just paste it in chat, and I can take a look at your site. Nice. Pablo says you can even Google WebGL and Webflow and find some clonable sites. Yep. Showcase has a lot of great stuff. Webflow Showcase. 3.js. Yep. You can just find a lot of cool stuff on Webflow and check out the read-only link. Yeah, no worries, Manuel. Hey, cannot join earlier today. We'll watch the replay. Cheers. Appreciate it, Manuel. Yeah, so 3.js and cool. I think I do have a 3.js in my showcase as well. Interactions. So you can check out my profile as well. I think this was 3.js. No, this was SVG. Yeah, this was SVG. What's up, Gabriel? How's it going? All right, if there's no questions, I'll wait a few seconds because there's a bit of a delay. If there's no questions, we'll end it for here. And Jonathan, I'll check out some Dribble mockups I have, and that could be really fun, actually. I really enjoy building those Dribble and those from Figma to Webflow and kind of creating those. Those are a lot of fun. Very nice. All right, so I'll end exactly at 1. And again, this is what we built today. Very fun animation. This button was built in After Effects, and we animated it on hover in Webflow, and we added some custom code for this Three.js background. All right. Yeah, if anyone wants to share their stories on how they got into Webflow, I'll stay another 5 minutes. Let me know your thoughts on Webflow, what you want to see in Webflow, like what features. We can have a nice little discussion real quick. There's a bit of a delay, I know, with my stream, so cool. Yeah, and just some design references. Like, I love using Unsplash for images. You can find anything on Unsplash. They're what do you call them? I think I'm losing my voice a little bit. They're commercial free or something like that. Like, you can use them in your projects, and they're just like pictures for everything. Hey, can you review my portfolio? Yeah, send it for sure. Yeah, so Unsplash. There's another site I like called Duotone. You can, convert images into different colors. In shapefactory.co, they have like logos, pigments, gradients, duotone. Like, if you wanted to check out gradients, Shape Factory is a very cool site. Illustration, this is new. I have not seen this before. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. It does look like it's a paid program. So yeah, that's shapefactory.co. I'll put it in the chat so people can see it. All right, let's check out 474's portfolio. Oops. Almost. Almost there. Okay. HTTPS. No spaces. There we go. All right. Very nice. Oh, nice. I wonder if you got this from my interaction. I did create an interaction on that. Yeah. It's not bad. But to me, it's lacking a little bit of design consistency. So as I'm going through it, I'm seeing different design elements that don't necessarily match up. Like, so for an example, I'm seeing like these cards have rounded edges on the left and the right, but then we go down here and these cards are square, which throws me off a bit. Then we have this section, again square, and then we have rounded circles. It's lacking a bit of consistency. And then we have this section here, which is another kind of design element. Doesn't match the previous sections. This part is nice. I like how you did this with the testimonials. But if it feels like you took a couple of elements maybe from different clonable projects, and I'm not sure, this is just speculating, and kind of built your site off different components. This is cool. Kind of like this. Yeah, that's interesting. yeah, then we have this blue color up here. I'm not getting a clear color theme for your site. I don't know what the color palette is, because we start with this blue, but then we just have a lot of different colors like pink, green, a darker blue looks like. Then we have this green here. So yeah, it's lacking a bit of design consistency, and then we have this bottom piece here with the kind of map going on, and there's an angle here. This angle doesn't quite do a lot for me, and it looks a little awkward, I have to say, because it's like slanted, but none of the other sections were slanted. I mean, this is slanted, but the theme isn't prevalent enough to for my mind to associate this with anything else. Let's check out the server. Okay, so one page scrolling site. I do like this hover effect. That's nice with the navigation. Yeah, and then the home. I just noticed that the home doesn't scroll back up. It just goes to the home page. It reloads the page. This is cool. So yeah, it looks a little bit disjointed. 474. I would maybe check out a few sites like portfolio sites, or even go to the Webflow showcase and just type in portfolio and just try to get some inspiration from that. So let's see if we can find a good one. Let's check out this one. So already this one's a little bit better. You can see that it's consistent with the rounded edges, and there's shadows, which is nice. And it's just consistent. Like, one thing with design, you want consistency. So you want things to kind of match as you're scrolling through the site. And they have the consistency down well, where they have the rounded corners on the buttons. There's a clear color. You know, they have the blue for the buttons, you know, this yellow for the text. And that theme goes throughout the site. So those blue buttons are prevalent throughout the site. And it has a design system to it. So they have different pages, you know, and yeah, the rounded corners and the shadows all match, the buttons match. So when designing, just think of that word, which is consistency, and that should help with your site. So let me see if I can go back to it. Yeah, so here, there's just too many different elements going on that doesn't give it a super cohesive feel. So yeah, I like to use awards for inspiration. So type in portfolio, and you can get some ideas for different portfolio sites. You know, some of these are like really out there as far as like animation and, you know, the things that are incorporated. But just to get some ideas for design and what's possible with design. Okay, this is just wild. So that's probably not a good example. One thing I will recommend, and it's in the description area below as well, is the Learn UI Design course by Erik Kennedy. Yeah, this, like, if you're new to web design and web development, you might want to start actually with this course first before even learning Webflow. I find that too many designers and web developers, or web developers in general, sometimes skip the UI aspect of web design, and that's a super integral part of web design, right? Like, a good website, you know, you go to apple.com and like just look at the UI, like everything is super clean, you know, like the layout is super clean, their images are amazing. Like, that's one thing with Apple, their images are just out of this world, which sometimes is not so easy. I understand, as a web designer or developer, you can't always hire like an agency to get you these like top-notch images, but yeah, Webflow just has good design, good text. You can look at how the text is aligned, how the site is aligned. And this is a super simple layout that Apple has, like there's nothing complicated. You could build this layout on Webflow in like 10 minutes, right? And then, it's just a matter of like the little details that they've added. Like look at these icons. Those are beautiful icons. And these images are beautiful. Yeah, it's just like everything, they have everything going for them on the site. Like, and Apple spends millions of dollars on design, so it's not like it's not what's the word? I'm losing my words today. Um, yeah, it's not a surprise that Apple just has cool sites. So yeah, just look at design. If you can, if it's in your budget to enroll in this course, I would definitely do it. Um, I've finished this course. I think I have a little bit left to complete, but it taught me everything. Yeah, typography, color, design process, and interface components. Those are all super important when designing a website. So hopefully that helped. There's tons of inspiration everywhere. You can go to dribble.com and just look up, yeah, like I can say portfolio or web design, and just see what other folks are doing. Yeah, I'll sign in and yeah, maybe we can look at Dribble and just start building some of these sites. That'd be cool. All right, hopefully that helped. Hover and phone mockup. Yeah, so we did that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And while these girls from your client Odal's fashion would distract me quite a bit, I also would not be able to be consistent watching them. So these girls from your client, Odal's collection. Oh, well, yeah, that can be distracting for sure. Oh man. But yeah, it all depends. Like these images don't look like they correlate, which I don't quite understand. But if you're trying to show off your work, it all depends. If it's a portfolio, sometimes the images don't have to match up. All right, so I think that is it for me. Thanks everyone. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Jonathan, I think I will take you up on that idea of recreating a Dribble or a Figma file. I have some Figma files that we can build off of, and we'll start building layouts in Webflow. So yeah, make sure, tell a friend, and if you know anyone who's interested in Webflow, tell them about my live streams. If you have questions or you're working on a project and you need help, definitely come to my live stream and I'll be happy to help. The web development world is very unique and unlimited. There's limitless possibilities with how layouts can be done, with how custom code can be integrated, with how a site can be built, colors, animations, design, Lottie animations, After Effects animations. It's just becoming more and more unlimited and a lot of fun. And Webflow is the perfect tool to express our creativity without using tons of code or basically no code unless you want to add custom code. Webflow allows us to achieve those really cool things on a website with no code, and especially with the interactions platform that they have, or interactions feature that they have. Awesome. Thanks everyone. Appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.